Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? I wanted to hate Monday Night Raw this week because I'm still bitter about all the releases over the weekend, but honestly, I gotta say, I actually enjoyed myself. This was a very solid Raw. And plus, bonus points, Triple H didn't do that thing where he tricks you that it's a good Raw because he gives you a good opening and then a good ending, and then everything else in between just sucks and doesn't make sense. No, honestly, almost everything made sense. Literally everything made sense with the exception of the fact that the Usos didn't help Roman at the end. They did callbacks to previous storylines. They even kind of sort of acknowledged Kairi Sane, which I was happy about. I wish they had done more, but they did actually acknowledge her in a way. We'll talk about that later. First, let's talk about that opening. That was a really good opening because we saw the right-hand man, Jey Uso, back. We saw Roman Reigns taking counsel with the Usos. So maybe we don't have a wise man, but we have a wise men now where you get Crash Out Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, the level-headed ones. And they were talking about how, Roman says, I gave everybody 2 years to become relevant, and everybody just rested on their laurels. Why now that I'm champion is Jacob coming? And then Jimmy's like, hey, well, I do kind of sort of agree that he needs to level up, but not at your expense. And Jay's like, no, he stepped up. He's trying to become tribal chief. He's trying to do this. He's trying to do that. We got to get rid of him. He needs to be dealt with. And then Roman's like, you're right. No handouts. Love Crash Out Jey Uso, right-hand man Jey Uso. All the people that were saying, oh, you just hate Jey Uso now that he's being pushed. No, I hated the Jey Uso that only pushed t-shirts. I actually like this three-dimensional character, Jey Uso, just like, no, Roman, you need to do something about this. Love that. And then Roman's like, yeah, you're right. Then they lock hands and they're like, family first. It's like, loyalty. Loved it. And then at the end of the show, Roman comes out and he's talking about the belt, how he addresses the fact that once upon a time he actually buried the belt. He buried the belt so hard that I have never been able to consider it like a top, like tied with the undisputed title until now. And he even said, though, he's like, now that I have this title, it's no longer, and I'm paraphrasing, is no longer the second place title. It was made in spite of me, and now I'm making it relevant. And, it's true. It does seem a little more top tier than Cody's right now. And if you want to win this title on my shoulder, you can. But first, let me talk to you. I actually held the 20,000 subscriber giveaway over the weekend. The first place winner did not contact me in the 48 hours time allotted. So now it goes to the second place winner. Roman Reigns, acknowledge me. It's appropriate, but that is the user's name. You are now eligible to win any title you want. You get to pick what it is. You have until, let's see, today's Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday. You have until Wednesday, 7 p.m. to get a hold of me on Instagram or TikTok. Message me and you can pick your belt. Otherwise, it goes to the third place winner, and the third place winner has contacted me. So I'm telling you, Roman Reigns, acknowledge me. Hit me up before 7 p.m. on Wednesday. Otherwise, third place will get it. I'll take a video of me shipping it out and everything so you can trust me. But don't worry, people. There's a 30,000 subscriber giveaway too. So all you got to do to win is comment below, subscribe to the channel, and you can win this belt. Unless somebody picks it. It's not a toy, it's a replica. All right, so, really solid show. Just really solid storytelling. Can't lie. We'll talk more about the ending, about Jacob Fatu actually becoming a heel once more. And so I'm like, ooh, I love heel Jay, or I love heel Jay. I love heel Jacob. I love the heels. I love heels in general. So we start off the show with the Council of the Bloodline, and that's a cinematic thing. Cool, whatever. Loved it. Then Seth Rollins comes out. Seth Rollins starts saying how Roman has his belt, how he should have main evented. Bron Breakker, you cost me everything. Get out here, Braun. Braun comes out, and Braun says, I was doing fine without you. Like, you didn't do nothing for me. I was standing behind you as you just, we had to clean up your messes, and he was kind of true. Both people made valid points. And Bron Breakker eventually says, I only went under your tutelage so I could get to him. I wanted Paul Heyman as my manager. And then Seth is like, you're a bigger idiot than I thought. And Braun says, you're like a really good number 2. And then Seth was like, yeah, well, you're not even number 2 in your family, which I didn't really fully understand. He did bring up the fact that he is a Steiner. I wish they would have explained it a little more in case the casuals in the audience or at home didn't know. Because if you don't know, Bron Breakker is the son of Rick Steiner, and his uncle is Big Papa Pump Holla, if you hear me, Scott Steiner. The guy who came out with a tiger one time in WCW and Steiner Math and all that stuff. But yeah, so is he saying that Rick and Scott are better than Braun? Well, of course they are. They're living legends. Right now, they are better than Bron Breakker, but eventually he might be able to surpass them. So, that wasn't that big of an insult to me on Seth's part, but Seth walks away, and it looks like we're going to get them in a matchup at Backlash. I really think we should have had their first match at WrestleMania still. I think the fact that we're getting this match so quick, it should have been WrestleMania, but whatever. We got Seth and Bron Breakker, and it wasn't a bad promo. It just wasn't like... It wasn't a grand slam, it was like a third base hit. I don't know, is that right? I don't follow fake sports, but that's kind of was it. Not a home run, but he got to third base. We got there, good hit altogether. Then we do Becky Lynch, the best in the world, and that's not just me saying it, people. That's Sports Illustrated. Becky Lynch is actually later in the show, but we'll just talk about her now. She comes out and she basically says, I want to do an open challenge. But then when Iyo Sky comes out, she's like, yeah, no. You're not the open, you're not eligible for the open challenge. I wanted something shiny and new. So I did like that Becky opened a challenge, but then she was like, no, and then she turned it down. So I did like that, but WWE is doing too many open challenges. It's a little overboard here. I get it. Everybody's a fighting champion. But it worked for Becky because she said, I don't want it. You don't count. But then Adam Pearce said, yes, she does count. So then they have a good match, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is a solid match. Asuka will interfere, and it was very jarring to not see Kairi with her, and it really did, it sucked. And Asuka will beat up Iyo. She beats her up and says, I'll be done with you when I'm done with you, and she'll leave. Later, we will have a promo. So wait, she beats her up, she interferes, and Becky will beat Iyo Sky, all right? Becky beats Iyo Sky. Becky leaves. And then later we have a backstage promo or a video vignette of Asuka, and we actually even will see some footage of Kairi in about 2 to 3 second clip, and Asuka never mentions Kairi, but she does say that she said something along the lines of, you failed me and I will never have that happen again. You're the reason the family has broken apart because I will never put myself in that position again. So it alludes to the fact that Asuka sent Kairi away. It alludes to it, but not directly saying it. I wish they would have just said it. I wish. I don't know if that would be disrespectful or not, but I feel like storyline-wise, we should have had Asuka say, I got rid of Kairi because of you. Fingers crossed, though, that we get Kairi back at Backlash. That would be really cool if Kairi came back and helped Iyo Sky win. So I'm really, really hoping for that. we did get R-Truth back after a firing, and a long time ago, Heath Slater actually got released, and he was allowed to come back so he could face Drew McIntyre, because it was like the 90-day window. So I'm really hoping that we get at least one more Kairi Sane appearance, but I have heard that she has flown back to Japan still. And the crowd did say, chant, "We want Kairi," but it was only during the Asuka beating up Iyo match, or beatdown. So it's like, if you really want Kairi back, you got to do it more. You got to say it more. So, yeah. But then we also had Penta faced Rusev, and Ethan Page came out to watch. Rusev will lose by a roll-up, which was kind of like, I don't know if we should be really pitting Rusev here. I get it. We want to build Penta strong, but Rusev will beat down Penta, and Ethan Page will actually come and help. That brings out Javon Evans. So it's probably going to be a fatal four-way at Backlash. Hope it's not a tag team matchup, and gosh, that OG cutter, there are a few moves that just impress you every single time it's hit, but that is one of them. I do worry though, because the OG cutter is pretty much an RKO, and Randy Orton's back problem stems from the fact that he did the RKO for 20 years. So I really am I get it, you're a young cat right now, Javon Evans, but maybe we should pull back so he has a back in 10 years. I know. I'm a dad, all right? Give me a break, all right? I get it. Once upon a time, I wanted Mick Foley thrown off the steel cage, but now that I'm a dad, I'm 46 years old, I'm like, guys, we need to invest in our 401k while we're young, compound interest, and we need to protect our bodies. Javon, call me. I need to tell you that I need to give you some fatherly advice. Stephanie Vakir, she was walking in the back and she got jumped by the Judgment Day, and it looks like she's going to be out for a little bit. They said that she was kind of injured. I think she was kind of, sort of, maybe nursing an injury, but I don't know. I think she might be out for a minute. And then, oh no, don't do this to me. Saying, hang on one second. So what else did we have happen here? We had, oh man, my stupid phone. So I'm just gonna have to go by memory. The Grande Americanos. I liked this. I liked that every match tonight pretty much had a story going into it. The only match that did not have a story was Bayley Lyra and Judgment Day. Roxanne and Raquel, but that story I think was just putting themselves in a number one contender spot. But Grande Americano says, I'm gonna have a match versus mask match in AAA. This is Tall Grande saying that he's about to have one with Short Grande. And so Tall Grande says, to prepare for that, I want to face the living legend, Rey Mysterio, which is cool because Grande Americano actually has been wrestling for 30, 40 years, just like Rey Mysterio. But we never got that because Rey Mysterio was in WCW at the time. So this is pretty much a once-in-a-lifetime matchup tonight of luchadors from the 90s and 80s and stuff like that. So we got that matchup, and it was good, but OG Grande, Short One, comes in, and there's shenanigans. Tall Grande wanted to put the thing in his head, but he couldn't. Rey Mysterio will win, and then after he wins, OG Grande and other Grande, Tall Grande, they fight, and they have a pull-apart brawl, which is weird because Asuka and Iyo didn't have a pull-apart, but these two had a pull-apart. So, whatever. We have Lyra and Bayley. They lost to Roxanne and Raquel, but it was cool because this was really close to Roxanne Perez's hometown, so she got a lot of cheers. You could tell that she was really happy to get the cheers. And one of the bonuses of not being under Vince McMahon is the fact that you're allowed to win in your hometown. So it was cool that the fans got to cheer for Roxanne Perez. I did like that a lot. Grayson Waller is back with Adam Pearson saying, why does everybody get chances but me? And Oba Femi, maybe Oba or overrated, Oba rated. That's what he said, Oba rated. So that was a good line, but then Oba Femi's behind him, and he's like, you want an opportunity? Let's go. So they fight in the ring. He squashed. It was the right call. And I don't know how I feel about this because I think it's a good idea. But the fact that WWE's been doing too many open challenges lately, it's a little like, man, if only they hadn't been doing open challenges, this would have been so cool. But overall, it's probably a good idea. Oba Femi after says, every championship is kind of tied up right now. So how about this? An open challenge. I'm doing an open challenge to anybody who wants to come and face me. So that's kind of a cool way for Oba Femi to face new people. But it would be weird if people like Tozawa came and faced him. But like people like Otis, that would be kind of cool. Maybe Hank and Tank or we could do, I know we did this in NXT, but you could maybe bring in some TNA guys like Moose and whatnot. So yeah, there's opportunity here. I think it's a good idea to keep Oba Femi busy until King of the Ring, but I think it's just, we've done too many open challenges. Even Becky sort of did an open challenge earlier. I do like the fact that Oba Femi's aura is so great right now that he could just say, I got an open challenge with no title on the line. So that's kind of interesting and fun. And then was there anything else? We still got to talk about Jacob Fatu. I'm aware of that. Raquel, Finn Balor did address Roxanne Perez, and Roxanne, she's like, I'm with Judgment Day. I'm solid with Judgment Day. You need to leave though. You need to leave and get out of here now because I'm with Judgment Day. I'm thinking that right there is going to cause them to kick out Roxanne Perez, and Roxanne Perez will go babyface because it's like, because they know that Judgment Day doesn't like Finn, but she was still talking to him, even though she kicked him out. And then the only other thing that happened was at the end, we have Roman Reigns comes out with Jacob Fatu, and Roman's like, this was the best. He's like, Jacob, I can't give you a title match. That would be nepotism. That would be nepotism. That is freaking hilarious because, that's like one of the big things that they say, nepotism. And let me see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I missed. I forgot the Joe Hendry stuff. We got to talk the Joe Hendry stuff. But yeah, he back it up. Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry did a funny song, so I was a little worried Joe would be kind of really cheesy, but he does a funny song of Paul, fired Logan Paul. I laughed really hard. I got a TikTok now, by the way. If you want to join the TikTok or my Instagram, just, Wrestle Chop, just search it up, and I put my reactions on those, and I enjoyed myself. It was a cheesy, we had Joe Hendry making fun of Logan Paul. Logan Paul comes out with Austin Theory. Then the Street Profits come out, and it was cheesy but effective. I liked it. Joe Hendry was funny. I laughed. And then in the back, and Logan Paul just say, you can't fire me. And then in the back, we had the Street Profits talking to themselves, and Seth comes, hey guys, I want to talk to you. And Montez Ford is like, no man. We were there to help ourselves. Opportunity. That's it. You got no friends. And that's something Bron Breakker said earlier, that Seth has no friends. And Seth doesn't have any friends. He's betrayed every single person ever. Maybe he hasn't really fully betrayed Cody Rhodes, but there was definitely some tension there. And then now we fast forward to the ending of the show, and Jacob and Roman. Jacob's like, I don't need a moment to think about it. Nepotism. And then Jacob just snaps, and he puts the tongue in death grip on Roman Reigns. I believe the last time the tongue and death grip has been done was by Ming/Haku in WCW, and he just goes at him. And Roman can't get out of it. He gets out of it one time, but then Jacob puts it again. He's like, this is mine. I'm going for it. I liked that Jacob was also like, when you guys were on the front lines, I was in the bread line or something like that. I don't know. He was just like, you guys were living it high up and I was trying to pay rent. It's like, Solo brought me here. And then Roman did kind of sort of bury Solo a little, but it's Roman Reigns, so it's kind of whatever. And he's like, Solo couldn't even get a cup of coffee if he wanted to. I signed off on you. And Jacob was like having none of it. So after the tongue and death grip, Jacob starts walking away, and Roman's like, fine, you want a match at Backlash? You got a match at Backlash. And Jacob's like, I'm not waiting to Backlash. I'll see you next week. That's a heel. That's a heel. The Usos should have came out, or Roman should have said earlier in the night, I don't need you guys to come out. I don't need you guys to come out. Also, LA Knight did tell the Usos, you better not be restarting the Bloodline. You better not. But yeah, so that was the only inconsistency, that the Usos did not come out to help Roman. That's it. We could have solved it by just saying don't come out early. They didn't. Whatever. Still good stuff. I like that Jacob, after he beat up Roman, then he walked away. It wasn't just like, it's like they do this thing now where they get to a boiling point, someone says something and then just walks away. And then the other guy watches them walk away. No, I like that Jacob beat up Roman, then he walked away. It wasn't like he didn't leave him standing. And then he said, I'll see you next week. So now we have ourselves a little bit of a cliffhanger, and we know that Roman's going to be back next week. So yeah, it was just solid storytelling. I don't need these grand moments that will just like hit our dopamine for like 5 seconds and then just trick us. I just need long-term, consistent stories. And that's what this night on Raw was. I really did like it. I'm giving this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to give it a solid, I'm just going to give it a 9. I'm giving it a solid 9. Very consistent and good storytelling. Almost everything had a reason why it was happening. If you want to do 8.9 because the Usos should have helped Roman, I could understand that. We'll do 8.9. How about that? 8.9. I liked it. Definitely, I would say go and watch this Raw. All right, boys. All right, girls. Hot takes. Go leave a hot take. See you. Bye.